Order at 6:30. Thank you for coming today. The first order of business is our Board of Review meeting. It'll be short and sweet, so I'd like to call it to order now. We'll take a voice roll call.
Supervisor DeGidio?
Here.
Supervisor Graffin?
Here.
Chair Payne?
Here.
Supervisor McGowan-Merlin?
Here.
Supervisor Drews?
Here.
Okay, verification of Board of...
I think the clerk was supposed to call it to order because we have to select a chairperson.
Okay.
Well, I can call it to order. We're calling the Board of Review to order. Sorry, I'm new to this process, so bear with me. The notice has been posted both online and in the 3 places that we normally post it. I guess I would entertain motions for someone to be picked as chairperson for the Board of Review.
I'll make a motion to elect Laura Payne as chair for the Board of Review.
Do we have any seconds?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Laura will be the chair. The next one says verified that at least one member of the Board of Review has met the mandatory training requirements. Both Joy and Laura have done the mandatory training. And I have sent that information into the state as required by law.
Now the chair.
Now I can take over.
Okay.
Okay, the Board of Review will meet for the purpose of calling the Board of Review into session during the 45-day period beginning on the 4th Monday of April, pursuant to Section 70.471 of the Wisconsin statutes. The Board of Review will be adjourned to August 11, 2025, at which time it is anticipated that the Board of Review will meet and hear any submitted objections.
I'm sorry, that should have said 2026.
Oh, 2026, my apologies.
Well, no, I typed it wrong. I probably
Getting off
copied
to a
it
good
once from
start.
last year. So August 11th, 2026.
Okay.
So, okay. Are you recording this? Are we supposed to record? I mean, the Board of Review hearings are always recorded.
The hearings I know are supposed to be recorded. I didn't know if this one was supposed to be or not. The hearings and objections, I will check with Susan.
Okay.
Well, we'll have the recording here too, but I will check with her as far as the tape recording.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I have a question. Well, I know it's not. Can we let everybody know when the open book is?
The open book is, where is my note?
So everyone will be reassessed this year. If you have any concerns or questions, you can make an appointment with the assessor and meet during these 2 dates.
Yep, the assessments are supposed to be going out, the letter, the 30th of June. And I know that the open book is going to be July, I believe, 20th and 21st, and I will find that information here quickly. Why don't you go ahead with the adjournment, and I'll see if I can find that.
Well,
Here. Oh, it's right here in front of me, on the other side. Open book will be July 20th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and July 21st from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. Oh, this was a copy. This should say August. That's my fault. August 26th is the Board of Review, 2026, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
We will be
confused
posting
now.
this online. We've already posted it once, but we're going to be doing it additionally as we get closer to it. Again, they're going to start their field work on the 29th, and that notice will be put up on the website tomorrow. They will all be in marked vehicles, so if someone sees them outside, they don't have to worry. They are, in fact, legit. They did send out letters before about that. If anyone has any questions about it, they can call the office, and we can refer them to Dana or Zach, who will be out doing most of the field work.
So this is not correct?
Unfortunately, no. I just said I
Okay.
copied it
I
wrong.
think we need to read that again into the record.
Okay.
I mean, they get kind of particular about please.
Okay. What is the date?
August 26th, 2026.
The Board of Review will meet for the purpose of calling the Board of Review into the session during the 45-day period beginning on the fourth Monday of April pursuant to Section 70.471 of the Wisconsin statutes. The Board of Review will be adjourned to August 26, 2026, at which time it is anticipated that the Board of Review will meet and hear any submitted objections.
Thank you.
Okay. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Have a second? Second. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are adjourned. We will move directly into our monthly board meeting. Let's all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Verification of notice?
The meeting was duly noticed.
Okay. We'll move on to public comment. If any of our residents would like to come up for public comment to speak for 3 minutes, now is the time. Please come up and state your name.
Hello, Lauren Kelly, N4203 Sleepy Hollow Road. And I am here again to talk about the ongoing fire and EMS situation. As you know from the annual meeting, townspeople of Oakland really pushed for some dialogue with Cambridge Fire and EMS. Thank you to Joy Graffin for attending the April 29th meeting. She was the only member that attended, and I hope that she is given the opportunity to convey what was presented at that meeting, which entailed a lot of different options that the full municipalities were presented with and are considering doing. I was an advocate for Oakland leaving the service back in 2024. I think it was a catalyst for change, and that change has occurred. And I think EMS service is something that needs to be under constant review. I mean, we review our healthcare choices annually at work, right? Why wouldn't we do the same for EMS? These are the most critically important services. Plus, the town spends nearly, if not more than half its budget on this particular service. So really, the proximity of Cambridge Fire and EMS makes sense for at least part of the town of Oakland to consider going back. And that doesn't mean necessarily we have to join the IGA. We could contract with them. It's not an, and there are lots of options. Like, it could just be a portion. Like, if you look at the map of the town of Oakland coverage area, and you look at where the stations are positioned, it's so illogical that Cambridge doesn't cover the portion that Lake Mills has in particular. There are parts of that Fort Atkinson covers that make a lot of sense. Absolutely. There are parts of that Fort Atkinson covers that may be better served by Cambridge, because time is critical, time matters. And again, the problems that existed with this service before have been addressed. I don't think any of those municipalities, even if the commissioners change, I don't think any of those municipalities are going to allow anything like what happened back in 2020 to 23 or 4. I don't think any of them are going to let anything like that happen again. They just can't. None of them, no one can afford it. I mean, these are life critically important services. So I would just encourage each of you, again, the town people of Oakland all unanimously requested you have a meaningful conversation with Cambridge EMS. And I don't think that's happened to this point. You know, what might work? What are some options we could consider? Could we just look at Lake Mills portion? Lots of things. But until there's a conversation with Cambridge Fire and EMS, nothing's going to happen. They don't
Time's
know
up.
what we'd want.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Lauren.
Thank you.
Please come up.
Hi, Sheila Palinkas, N4233 Alpine Village Lane, resident of Oakland, former board member. Thank you, Lauren, for your comments. Thank you guys for serving. I know it's not an easy job, but it is what it is. And we're asking you to have some dialogue regarding particularly the fire and EMS services and the Fire Commission. Thank you, Joy, for all of the work and effort, the time you put in, and for attending the meeting. Have you had an opportunity to hear or download that information or share it with anyone? No. Okay.
Well,
This is just for you
I-
to speak to us.
Okay. So, as you guys know, at the April meeting with the annual meeting of the town electors, there were several motions made and passed, advisory motions albeit, that were unanimously passed, and asking you to all consider seriously the option to potentially go back to an intergovernmental agreement, or potentially, as Lauren mentioned, a contract service. Again, none of this is by in any way meant to offend these wonderful people behind us who helped us in our time of need. But when we chose to leave the intergovernmental agreement, it was intended to be temporary, and you know that. It was intended to be temporary. We should have had at least one public meeting about this, and certainly as a board, all of you should be discussing this with more detail. We also voted to have you collect data that you can share with us on at least a quarterly basis, and I hope that you will do that. None of these things I see on the agenda tonight, but please know that we will be watching this, and we expect you to represent us and not just simply do things as you think that you would have them done for yourselves. So we are watching. The last thing that I want to say for today, two things. Second to the last thing is one of the motions was also a motion to have a town meeting with respect to the Airbnbs. It was passed unanimously. People are talking about this. Residents who live here, this is an important topic.
Time is up.
And the last thing that I will
Time
say
is up.
is that
Thank
I
you,
do not
Sheila.
Time is
appreciate
up.
your attitude
I moved
displayed
the letter.
toward Joy
Finish,
Graffin.
please.
Time is up.
Okay?
Thank you.
You need to be more professional with her.
You need to leave, Sheila. You have no idea what is going on as far as behavior here.
It's very obvious what's
No, it is very
there's
obvious.
not gonna
Please.
be any disruptions right now, okay? Please.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to come up for public comment? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to approval of minutes of April 21st, 2026 meeting.
Okay, is it okay if I go ahead?
Yeah.
There are several things that need to be addressed on the minutes. First thing is, also present were clerk treasurer and public works supervisor. We need to have the names of the others that are,
Those will be at the, with the annual meeting minutes. These are not minutes for the annual
well,
meeting. These are only
some
minutes.
speakers were obviously,
The
at
only
the-
other speaker that was at this meeting, I believe, was Lynn Klipstein.
plus Joan Fitzgerald, and who represented the Michael Dorman Trust.
I don't necessarily get all those names ahead of time. If you want them added, I will add them.
Okay, we need to have that.
As I said. if
The
you want them
minutes need to
added.
show who was here if you're
I-
stating also present were.
Okay, we
We
will
also
add-
have a
Okay,
list
Thank
of
you.
people that were
Okay.
present.
We will add
The
that.
next thing I have is, okay. Typo under discussion and possible action on operator licenses for Gerald Vilchinix et al. It says Supervisor DeGiggio mad a motion.
Okay,
I think it's supposed to say made a motion.
We can correct that. You make typos yourself.
okay, so we will
Well,
make that.
I'm not
Okay, let's-
criticizing,
let's-
it happens
okay,
all the
right.
time.
What else, what
And
else
then
do you
the
have?
Agreed.
the next thing is the supervisor under the 2026-05 resolution down later, is that supposed to say, made a motion to approve the 2025-06? I think it's supposed to be 2026-06.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
And the next thing is just a typo under repeal and recreate section 3 of ordinance 16, chapter 14, if the code of ordinances. I believe that's supposed to be of the code of ordinances.
Okay,
And then under Enbridge update, I think it would be clearer if you separated after design report to the DNR, then it should be a new paragraph when you go into a next section. Supervisor DeGiggio made an amendment to amend the agenda to include the disbursements, because that's a different, that's not, shouldn't be under
it's just,
Enbridge update.
okay, somehow it just got moved to that section, it looks like.
And then the next one, disbursements starting with ETF to the DNR, is that supposed to be EFT? Electronic funds transfer?
Or it could be ACH, but I will change it.
If it can be ETF, what does ETF stand for?
I said, or it could be ACH, but I will change it to EFT.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, thank you.
all right.
That's
Did
what I-
anyone have any other comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second?
Okay.
Who made the motion?
Well, I was entertaining a motion too, but I will make a motion to approve the minutes with the corrections stated by Supervisor Graffin. Okay, Jimmy second. All in favor of the amended minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on. Okay, next we will welcome Cambridge Superintendent Heather Kramer to discuss the state of the Cambridge schools. Thank you for coming. Please come up.
Welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
Welcome.
Great, thank you. Thank you for having me. So good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be here with you as our community partners and local leaders. We appreciate the strong relationship between the school district and all of our municipalities, because together we serve the families and support the same children and invest in our future and our community. Tonight I'm proud to share the state of our schools, celebrating our successes, acknowledging our challenges, and highlighting the important work that we continue to do on behalf of our students every day. It is an honor and privilege to serve the School District of Cambridge as their superintendent. I'm truly fortunate to work with a great team of dedicated administrators who serve our students, staff, and community with passion and professionalism. Whether it's through direct student support, operations, or special programming, the leadership makes an impact every day. Our district is filled with amazing individuals. We have talented teachers, support professionals who meet the needs of our students daily. Our maintenance and custodial teams take pride in ensuring that our facilities are clean, safe, and functional. Our food service staff work hard to ensure that every child starts the day with the nutrition they need to focus and learn. We also have one of the finest community programs in the state. Our CAP team exemplifies the power of strong school community relationships. Together, all of our employees make a difference in the lives of our students and strengthen our community. As a district, we are united by a common goal, doing what is best for kids. We strive to be competitive in an increasingly demanding world by offering a well-rounded, relevant curriculum that prepares students for academic success both in school and the workforce. We continue to expand our extracurricular opportunities, both athletically and non-athletically, so that students have the opportunities that reflect their interests and passion. Our goal is to ensure that students in Cambridge are prepared, if not more so than those of peers across the state. Of course, with all of those goals come costs. Like many districts across Wisconsin, we're facing financial challenges of inadequate school funding. This is not just a local issue, it's a statewide concern. But we will not let that define us or impede our mission, because we have a ton to celebrate. This past year, our high school received its highest report card rating in the last decade, the second highest in school history. We saw a significant increase in student participation in extracurriculars. Students excelled in many, many areas. Our Student Learning Center, or our SLC, has had over 1,200 student visits, 19 visits from full grades from 4K through 5th grade, achieving the goal of annual access for every child. Nicolay Middle School had staff retention rates of 97%, a strong indicator of a positive culture and a climate that is there for kids. Cambridge Elementary School implemented a new reading curriculum and continues to focus on delivering high-quality instruction to prepare our kids for future success. But we're not immune to the financial pressures. As operational costs increase, state contributions to public education have not kept up with inflation, creating budget gaps across Wisconsin. Additionally, the state's voucher program for private and special needs education are funded through local taxpayer dollars. Last year, Cambridge taxpayers paid nearly $210,000 towards these programs. This year, the number is expected to be just over $185,000. We build our budget with a conservative and student-centered approach. Our preliminary budget is approved annually in June, so it's just upcoming around the corner here, and then it is finalized in October, once the state releases final aid and enrollment figures. Our goal remains unchanged, to craft a solid, student-focused budget. This past year, we were able to increase our fund balance by $360,265, which brought to 14.62% of our operating budget. Our mill rate was set at $7.93 per 1,000, which was a decrease of 30 cents. Our local all-fund levy was adopted at $9,498,038. Our current enrollment in Cambridge is 853 students. There are 365 students at the elementary, 193 at the middle school, and 268 at our high school. There are also 27 students who are enrolled in our charter school. We continue to work to be fiscally responsible. We continue to prioritize the upkeep and improvement of our facilities. Our long-term facilities plan outlines building and ground needs over the next 10 years. While our buildings have been well maintained, age brings inevitable updates. This past summer, we completed several projects at the middle school, and this summer we're going to be targeting repairs at the high school to the roof, along with repairs to asphalt in the athletic complex areas. However, major systems like HVAC and roofing are reaching the end of their expected lifespans. The needs are being actively reviewed so that we can make informed and proactive decisions. We have engaged with Krause Anderson, a firm out of Madison, to complete a feasibility and facility study for the district. This study will outline the needs within the district and take a real deep look at each of the buildings and our grounds, and take a look at what repair the buildings are in. It will create a comprehensive look for where we are at and our vision for the future. We're also doing a comprehensive technology audit to ensure accessibility for our students and staff well into the future. But that looming question is always there. Is there enough in the operating budget to cover the deferred maintenance items? That is something that the board is carefully looking into. There may come a time in our district when we need to ask the community for support with school maintenance. This will be a time that we will look for strong community engagement to keep Cambridge schools moving forward. This year has brought many successes The school district continues to place students at the center of everything. We're proud of the growth reflected on our state report cards, and even prouder of the instructional changes driven by data and best practice. But none of these would be possible without you, our community. I'd be remiss not to mention the tremendous and historical effort by our boys basketball team in qualifying for the state basketball tournament and placing as a runner-up. I was blessed to ride through town and see all of the support for the kids lining the streets. The stands were packed with Blue Jay pride, and those watching from home and afar let us know. It was an amazing day in the office when people from out of state were calling and screaming and yelling, "Go Blue Jays." This is something that was amazing for our kids and our schools, and it was amazing for our community. I have never been a part of something so special with a community that showed up so much and showed that love and support to kids. We truly made an impact in Madison. I stood on the sidelines and I was talking with the director of the WIAA, and she was completely impressed with how many people came to support our kids and actually commented, "I cannot even believe that anybody is probably left in Cambridge today." The support our students receive from our families, our organizations, and local businesses is unmatched. Groups like the Booster Club, the Foundation, and other parent organizations play essential roles in our success. Your generosity and commitment to our kids does not go unnoticed. Financial support, volunteerism, and community partnerships give our school district an advantage. As we look to the future, we do so with grit and determination. Our mission reminds us to learn from the past, achieve in the present, and envision the future. And that's what we intend to do. We're preparing our students to perform for life. Thank you for your continued support, because together we will achieve more. I'm proud of all we've accomplished and more excited for what lies ahead. We're part of something great here in Cambridge. Working together, we're going to keep that spirit going and continue to thrive. I just want to take an opportunity to welcome you all tomorrow. We have our last community coffee of our fiscal year. It's at the Galleria tomorrow morning from 7 to 9 a.m., which is a chance for community members to come out and talk with myself and board members to get any questions that you have answered as well.
Great, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Nice, Heather.
Yeah, wonderful job at the
Yes.
schools.
Thank you.
Go Jays.
7 to 9, you said?
Yes,
At the
7 to
gallery.
9.
At the Galleria.
Yep.
Okay. All are welcome. Thank you so much. We will move on to Fire Chief's reports. Welcome, Chief Peterson. We'll have him go first since he has another meeting to get to.
How do I follow that?
I don't know. Big shoes to follow.
Thank you for having me. My monthly report's coming out. We've had some issues with the new reporting system that the state and federal agencies are having us use. So the data's going in well, not coming out well yet. So, but I'm hoping to get that out by the end of the week. I sent out a note. We had a structure fire on Sunday evening. Very proud of our staff. They arrived on the scene within 4 minutes and had water in the fire about 40 seconds after that. Really a good textbook evolution our staff did to really contain that fire and save that structure from getting up in the attic. And as the chief knows, once these fires are in the attic space, they're very difficult to put out. So staff
Was
did
that
very, very well.
in the town?
It was in the city of Fort Atkinson. I will remind everybody that the homeowner was able to use the fire extinguisher that he had on hand and able to contain the fire a little bit. So there's really no excuse for any people in our area not to have a couple extinguishers in their house. You owe it to yourself and you owe it to your family. Today, we had a very special day. We had 2 gear dryers donated to us from Kelman Restoration, which is the restoration board-up company we use, and then the Generals baseball team, both combined to give us 2 gear dryers worth about $10,000. They don't sound like a lot, but they mean a lot to us. One of the things that I did when I got here is to have a cancer prevention initiative. And in the old days, firefighters wanted to look cool, so their gear was yucky, and their helmets were black with soot, and it showed that you were the veteran. And we've learned that that is carcinogens that you're wearing on yourself all day long. So now, as soon as a firefighter goes into smoke, when they get back to the station, they shower, change their uniform, and then we wash that gear. And if you can imagine a fire like yesterday, we had about 18 firefighters there. we had a lot of gear to wash and a lot of gear to dry, and we were having difficulty with that. So it was very kind of those two organizations to donate these dryers to us. We were able to get the gear washed, dried, and back in service as soon as possible. The last thing I'll note is we had a significant engine repair over the last couple of weeks. Our main engine, 8161, had some significant front end issues. Took it up to Rennert's to have it worked on. They did us a favor and got it moved to the front of the line, but that bill ended up being about $24,000. The good news is in our contract, there's no additional cost to you, as you know, that you kind of pay a percent of the contract, so any overages in budget amounts are covered by the city. And as the chief knows, these repairs of these fire vehicles have gotten incredibly expensive. And this is another example of that. But fortunately, it's back in service. So I believe that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions for you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Do you
Great.
have your response times for your EMS to the town of Oakland? Do you have what your response times come out to be?
You have to be more specific.
If you have a call to the
In-
town of Oakland,
In over what time frame? Over the
you
last
mean during the
year?
day? Or no, just recently? Have you had any EMS calls or fire calls in the town of Oakland?
Yeah, we've had 24 year to date.
Okay, and what would the response times?
I don't run that number specifically for Oakland.
Okay, can you possibly get us that?
If the chair would like, I'd be happy to give
That
you
would be
whatever
fine.
information you would like.
If the chair would like? I think the board, I'm a board member, I would like to see that too.
That's fine.
Okay,
If you wouldn't mind getting that for us, that
I'd
would
be happy to. And what exactly would you like, the en route time and response time to all calls or just CMS calls?
And fire,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you for all you
Good.
do for us. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thanks for coming.
Good evening. Thank you for coming, Chief Ross.
My report should have been presented to you as I mailed it out. Just a couple things to update. We've had a little spur and an uptick in our recruitment process. We're bringing a person on for appointment at the PFC coming up here on this Thursday. We also have another person that is in the application pool, passed the application, and currently have that person on to background check and medical and physical. We've been out helping our neighbors 3 times over the last month. Most notably was the Palmyra fire, the big chicken barn fire that they had down there. We ended up servicing as a tender filler and pushed about 170,000 gallons worth of water on that day. We were one of the 3 fill sites that we were being used that day. We've had 1 vehicle fire this month in our area. Wildland and vegetation obviously have been a little bit on the low side simply based on a lot of water that we have had, thanks to whoever's putting the water down, and also everything greened up really, really quick. So maybe one of the best wildland preventions is buying a new UTV because we haven't gotten a chance to use it yet. So, upcoming events, we have May 26th from 5 to 8 p.m. This is our 3rd annual Touch a Truck event. It's a great opportunity for people to get up close with different vehicles, different equipment that departments have. We're not sure if UW Medflight or one of the flights are going to be able to make it this year. They're always kind of a touch and go subject with them based on their responsibilities that they have to maintain as well. But that'll be at the McDonald's in Lake Mills. On the 23rd, we're going to be doing our first MDA Fill the Boot campaign. Our crews will be out at certain intersections selected in the Lake Mills area and collecting for Fill the Boot. And then we're looking to schedule our 2nd quarter. May 21st is off of the table, and so is June 11th. So if any of those other dates work, the 28th or June 4th, we've had a request that it be at between 6 to 8 p.m. versus the 5. It gets a little too early for folks.
I think Wendy sent,
Yeah, I sent your times today.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
get those. So my report does look a little bit different. Hearing that Bruce is having troubles now again with reporting software. I just got through my troubles with reporting software. The graphs just show you the types of calls we're going out on, the communities that we're heading to and how many, the incident days of the week, and the hours of the day. And then on the bottom there is the average responders based between 2025 and 26, where we're currently at. And then the last information is the incidents that we're responding out to. Those do show the times. I am very proud of our times and the times that we are making. So those have been presented to the board for review if you have any questions. Outside of that, that's the end of my report. If there's any other questions that I may follow up on.
I do have a question for you. So during our annual meeting, I mentioned that you had asked me to facilitate a meeting with Chris Brunig and Kristen Blackwood from the Village of Cambridge to discuss the regionalization. I wasn't really part of, I was there, but I was not really part of that conversation as far as what you were talking about. But I would like you to explain what the regionalization means, how would that impact not only the town of Oakland, but the other communities that are currently in the Fire Commission.
Yeah, so that meeting did occur, and it occurred here at the town of Oakland. That meeting was just to give an idea that, hey, the city of Lake Mills is open to options, possibilities, and the city of Lake Mills, as a lot of people have known, we just recently went through, coming up on 3 years ago, our own EMS becoming no longer functional. The fire department ended up having to step up, take over part of the responsibilities for responding EMS, and the city also took the opportunity to research other options, in which that's when we searched and privatized some of our EMS with Ryan Brothers EMS. That conversation was basically to show that the city of Lake Mills would be open to talking about ideas. I know that this is a very vast area to drive through, as I drive through it on a daily basis coming to and from work. And the area does need to have something. So it was a way to put out there, hey, here's an opportunity. We're open to discussions, and if anybody wanted to follow up on it, they definitely could have. We have received nothing to this date.
How? I don't know how that would work. Can you explain how that would work?
Part of my model would be is to replicate exactly what we currently have up in Lake Mills down here. Fire department becoming an ambulance and EMS provider. Privatizing ambulance service at this time as the first out primary, just exactly as we're operating today in Lake Mills.
So do they have their own structure then here in Cambridge?
It would be structured under one unit, yes.
So it would be structured under you?
All depends on whatever the talks were to come out. There was never any follow-up as to how it would even
Okay. But you would be open to having
all firefighters would be needed, if that's
Okay.
the question. And
And-
everybody would be welcome to stay on.
would it include all the municipalities that are currently in the?
One of the best ways, and I think you guys are quickly coming to figure out, 1.2 to 1.4 million split, no matter how you try to operate an EMS, is you have to put the population base back into the equation. Currently, right now, the population base for this area down here is no longer there. So the only way to put the population base is to get organizations back in. With regionalization, there's a lot of state things in which Joan would be a good person to speak on behalf of that. Obviously, she was here at your last meeting. There's a lot of opportunities out there for states or the state to
You
look
mean
at
John Fitzgerald?
regionalizations, new partnerships, ways to build services, which then opens you up to innovation grants, other opportunities. I know that there has been a lot of talk for many years about redoing the station down in this area, and one of the ways to put an ambulance in-house would be best to have it suited in the building itself. It decreases response time, it decreases the potential of workplace injuries by having people to walk across an icy parking lot during the nighttime if it's not well lit. The other part is you're taking opportunity of tax base and now taking it off of the tax roll. So you're kind of counterproductive of what you're trying to do.
So it become a district?
Again, there was no details as far as how it would lay out. Could it be a district? Sure, it could. Does it have to be a district? No.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions?
You said something about putting the people back into the equation, or whatever. What did that mean?
Basically, the idea is the more population base that you have in the model, the more that it is spread across per person
Sure.
across the whole group.
Makes great sense.
So it would be a combination of your current area that you service as well as other areas, and then it would be a much larger area than just,
It was
one
slowly
or the
brought
other.
up, it was really brought up in the basis of, there was obviously some items that are happening down here. Having a large area potentially losing any type of service. We had gone through that same thing, and it was a matter of retooling and relooking at how do we provide a service again. And that is exactly where we were at. We felt as we were coming from the same area, from the same past history, losing a service, maybe not having a service that might not be sustainable, to, hey, would you be open to even looking at this? And again, to this date, we've heard no response.
So it would cover, it could possibly cover Oakland, Cambridge, the rest of town of Lake Mills, town of Christiana, village of Rockdale.
We would
Are you-
need all the puzzle, we would need all the pieces of the puzzle to make it happen. My understanding is more areas are looking now to step away for sure.
Okay, but that would
The
be
more that step away.
possible.
Yes. That was.
That's what I'm
that
asking.
was That was the vision. But the more that step away, the more that go to other departments, such as further to the south, further to the west, the more that you lose, goes back to the question that was raised by Joan. When the population goes out, that number per capita goes up.
Okay. Thank you.
any,
I'd also like to thank you for having your inspectors out inspecting businesses in
Yeah.
the area. That's something I hadn't seen in the past,
That's all part of the requirement, so.
and I appreciate it.
And if at any time, if the numbers that you're seeing, if there's any questions on those numbers, just one for clarification, standby does not go out the door, so how it's referenced on there, STNBY, you're never really gonna see times behind that one, because standby are personnel that are remaining at the station. The other part to take a look at is you're gonna notice that my department is putting 3-4 vehicles on the road on a call. On EMS calls, we normally only do respond to assist, just to maintain continuity in the station. But all of our motor vehicle accidents, our bigger incidences, you're gonna see we're putting 3 to 4, if not more, out there on a call.
great,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the info.
Not
Yeah.
a problem.
thank you, I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay. We will move on to Johnson Block, presenting the 2025 audit results. Jeff, thank you for coming.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Is that all this fancy stuff?
This is all the fancy stuff that you have
All the-
here.
Graphs and tables and all the color. All right, well, as mentioned, my name is Jeff Osvog with Johnson Block and Company, and we conducted the 2025 financial audit for the town again this year. So tonight, I'm here just to do a brief overview of the financial statements and then answer any questions you may have with regards to the audit this year. And so I did bring this handout. You should have copies of the final issued audit reports and the required communication letters as well. But rather than going through those, I'll just be going through this handout tonight. So prior to getting into the financials themselves, I just briefly wanted to go through essentially the content of the audit report. So basically, the first item in the report is our independent auditor's report, and that is where we provide the opinion letter, or I'm sorry, that's where we provide our opinion. We did provide an unmodified opinion again this year, and that is the highest level of assurance we are able to provide in an audit engagement. Essentially noting that the financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects, and that they are in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Next come the fund financial statements. So this is a general fund only audit. So it just includes essentially the balance sheet and the income statement activity of the general fund. Next come the required footnote disclosures, and then in the back of the audit report are a few required supplementary informational schedules as well. To go along with the audit, we were also engaged to compile and submit the town's municipal financial report, or the Form CT. So the due date was actually May 15th, so last Friday. So that was submitted on a timely basis there. And then at the end of the audit process here, we are required to provide management and governance a few standard audit communication letters. So that is the second document in your packet along with the audit report. So it does include 3 different communication letters. The first, as I mentioned, is just a standard letter outlining some items from the audit, whether, noting if we had any difficulties during the audit or disagreements with management, which we did not have. It notes if there were any estimates within the financial statements, and it also identifies the adjusting journal entries that we proposed during the audit process this year. The second letter essentially involves or relates to our evaluation of the town's internal control procedures, and then our identification of any potential deficiencies in those internal controls. We did have 2 deficiencies this year, and these are the same 2 that we have reported on in past years, so it's nothing out of the ordinary there, but the 2 being for material audit adjustments that were recorded during the audit process, along with the lack of segregation of duties. And so these are 2 very common deficiencies. The majority of our clients, who are sort of smaller municipalities such as the town, have these similar items. So again, nothing out of the ordinary there. For smaller municipalities such as the town with limited resources, limited staffing, things like that, it is tough to sort of mitigate some of these deficiencies. However, as I mentioned, these are the same couple we reported on in past years. So again, nothing new, nothing out of the ordinary there. And then the last letter is the management letter, and this is where we provide some additional recommendations or points of emphasis we want to make management and governance aware of. The one I wanted to point out tonight was with regards to the general fund's fund balance, or in this case, its overall deficit. So at the end of 2025, the general fund did have a deficit of about $314,000. Now that is compared, and we'll see it on the next page, that is compared to a deficit at the end of 24 of about
What page are you on right now?
Yeah, I think
I'm still on the
you lost
first.
me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. On the handout, still on the first page.
Okay.
behind the
Okay.
cover. Where at the end of 2024, that deficit was about $991,000.
Oh.
So a pretty significant decrease in that deficit between years. However, the deficit at the end of 25 was still quite significant as well. So what we just want to point out there and reiterate, similar to what we brought up last year too, was to continue having good budgeting practices and just making sure that the budget is being monitored on a regular basis. I'm sure you review financial reports at your board meeting, so continue to review those budget to actual type of reports and following that budget. Potentially looking for ways to increase your revenues, whether it's new revenue sources or whatnot, or finding areas potentially limit costs or limit spending to help bring that fund balance or bring that deficit back up to a positive fund balance. Another avenue you could also take is for any capital related items, whether it's your road projects or whether it's equipment purchases, things like that, that you could potentially go out for long-term debt to help finance those larger purchases. And then the subsequent debt payments on those loans, you could put those onto the tax roll as well. So essentially the tax roll would help finance those debt payments. And so your fund balance doesn't have to pay for your debt. Your tax levy is going to cover that, and your remaining revenues that come in can help assist with financing your other sort of operating type costs. So there are different avenues to help assist with getting that deficit back up to a positive fund balance. This is going to be a multi-year sort of incremental situation. It's not going to happen overnight, unfortunately, but hopefully with those few recommendations or areas that you can focus on, again, budgeting practices, potential new revenue sources, or limiting spending in some areas, potentially going out for debt. A combination of those could help eventually, hopefully, get the fund balance back up to a positive.
Is that the 313 number?
Yes, so then when you get an actual page 1 on the balance sheet there, that's, yes, that 313 is what I'm referring to.
Okay.
But it has improved quite a bit.
It's, yeah, so between years, and the main reason for that, I guess, decrease in the deficit was the timing of the LRIP funding for the Park Road, I believe?
Yes.
Yes, the Park Road project. So the costs were incurred essentially actually we'll sort of see it here coming up in page 3, but the costs for that project were incurred in 2024.
Right.
And then the LRIP funding was received in 25. So that sort of helped. It's just with the timing of the expenses and when you actually receive the revenue. So that was the main reason, I would say, for the decrease in the deficit between 2024 and 2025. So now that you've received that funding, the deficit is sort of maybe where it should be, quote unquote, kind of thing. So now it's just a matter of getting that deficit back up to a positive fund balance.
So the deficit is money that we have overspent from the budget, or what do you mean? How do you-
Essentially, so basically it is, so this is an accumulation of years where your expenses going out the door have been more than your revenues coming in, kind of thing. So your revenue sources, your revenues, and again, we have a couple pages of your different revenue sources and your expenses, but the revenues coming in, so your tax levy, your intergovernmental revenues, things like that, have been less than the expenses going out, basically. So your public safety, your public works, general government type expenses have been more than the revenues coming in. And this has just sort of been an accumulation in the past few years of situations like that. If that makes sense.
So I'm looking at this page, I'm sorry, humor me. The 225, page number 1, you've got the total assets, the total liabilities, and then you've got a couple of deferred inflows.
Yep.
Where does the 314,000 become negative there? Or is it not shown on that page?
No,
Okay.
You're in the right spot for sure. So basically, when you're looking at a balance sheet, so this gets down into the nitty gritty of accounting, sort of.
I'm a science teacher. I'm not an accountant, so there we go.
So basically, on the balance sheet, your total assets
Yep.
agree to liabilities plus deferred inflows plus your fund balance. So basically,
Okay.
I should say it's so if you take your assets less your liabilities less your deferred inflows, that gets you to the resulting fund balance, or in this case, deficit.
Now I'm seeing the 10 million and the 10 million down above and below there. So
Yep.
all
So,
right, I'm with you.
so in short, are you saying that we overspent in our yearly budgets over time, and this is like the total of that, or is it just?
Essentially, yes.
So it's not over the course of just 1 year? It's
No.
just
No, I think the deficit, from what I recall, started, the first time there was a deficit was probably 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that. And now it's sort of been
We're human.
from when it first started, whether, you're depending on the year, there could have been, your revenues could have exceeded your expenses, so that deficit maybe went down a little bit in a certain year, but then there were maybe years where your expenses going out were more than the revenues coming in, therefore increasing your deficit a little bit. So it just sort of depends on the year. But yes, basically, the deficit is a result of your budgeted expenditures being
Overspent.
You're overspending.
But this is not, we're not abnormal. I mean,
Writing bad checks.
from other municipalities, are we,
I would say
trouble?
that the majority of the municipalities that I work on do not have a deficit. I wouldn't necessarily say that the town is in trouble per se. It's just more of because you're obviously still operating, and it's just more of a, now going forward, how can we fix this?
It means we
You know,
spent more than
Well,
we
I
agreed to in the
understand.
budget over a few years.
basically. And so we do have we're going back to the management letter here, the different comments and recommendations that we have. One of them relates to the annual budget, and just again reiterating that monitoring that budget and just verifying that, or making sure throughout the year, this is what we, our approved budget that we approved in November, of the previous year. And then throughout the year, making sure, okay, are we getting close to any budget overages for this type of expense? And if we are, do we need to do budget amendments to sort of make sure that we...
Basically, we need to have a financial statement. I mean, I don't remember a quarterly statement showing that.
I had talked to Adam, the auditor that I was dealing with most of the time, about doing, whether it's quarterly, whether it's monthly, it's easy to run off Workforce, and you can go ahead and see
Right, I
what
think
was
that's what we
budgeted.
need to do,
Yeah.
because then we can keep track.
Yeah, and I know, like Wendy, like you said,
And we haven't done that. That has not been done.
in Workforce, from what I recall, there is a pretty straightforward, I think even budget to actual type of
Yeah, and that's the
where you
report that
can-
I would run,
Yeah.
because it does. It shows budget to actual, and then it shows
Each
you when
line
you're over.
item and-
Yeah,
Yep.
each line item is budgeted out that way.
Yep.
Okay.
Is it common for boards to give that report monthly?
Depending on the accounting software that each
Sure.
municipality uses, typically we've seen that boards, whether it's even just a check, I know you approve check listings here.
Yep.
So whether it's a check listing or at the least, or up to financial statements or.
Well,
budget
I was
actual
going to say,
statements,
maybe we go once a quarter and dive deeper into a financial, so we can see, we have the regular checks, so you can see those going out, but you don't see what is coming in for revenue that way. So whether it's once a quarter or once a month, I mean, it could be presented the same way that we do the disbursements, and we could look at some accounts. I could flag ones that look like they may be in trouble. Some of them you'll have a little trouble with, because some of them, like the revenue, when we budget for taxes, it'll show it right now. Not all of that revenue is sitting there, because A, we get another payment from the county in the summer, and B, we'll start pulling in a lot of that money again in December. So for right now, it looks like, we're way, way short on revenue, but you won't be able to see that until those other payments come in, and then find out where we're at the end.
Well, plus some of the expenses that would, for example, the attorney's fees, will get reimbursed for some of that.
Right,
Right.
right.
But it's, right now, it's showing that
Right,
much.
right now it
Correct.
shows up in the expenses, and that
Yeah.
could go also to the way that it's presented for you, because I know you in particular, Jimmy, seem to want to be able to see if it was something like that was going to be reimbursed, like the total expenses here, and then the revenues that have come in, so you could see what was kind of left in there, and that would be an easy enough thing to dump into Excel and to format and to be able to present.
I think it's important the board can monitor this, on certainly a monthly or quarterly basis, so we can acknowledge if we're over or not. I mean, I think that's responsible for the taxpayers, so I think that's a good suggestion, and we need to start doing that as a board.
Yes.
I talked to Adam too about some other just suggestions and things that he could recommend,
Accounting
saying,
procedures and
I'm
whatnot,
new
yeah.
to it. Well, being new to the position, I said I am from an accounting background, but the way things are done here are just a little bit different. So he
Yep.
gave me a nice little checklist of things that I could maybe work on to
Yep.
help us along.
All right, so do you think that's possible for next month to just?
To run the thing off Workhorse, sure.
Okay, so we'll start doing that, and then maybe as we get to budget times, we have to take a closer look, just to be a little bit more just accurate about what we think our expenses are going to be for the following year. Then we make our taxes what they need to be.
Yeah,
So that seems like
exactly.
that's part of that may be part of the issue here. We will.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, we will, we did get another LRIP grant, but that won't be, we'll work on it in 2027 for engineering, but it won't be constructed until 2028 is,
And then you'll probably get it in 29.
right. And we will
28,
get
29.
70% for this one instead of 50% like we did for
Okay.
Park Road, but.
Sure.
So then maybe at that time, we need to talk to you about the best way to, is there better ways to finance that than others that would, as far as
shorter term kind
Yeah,
of something
short
so that it
term,
doesn't look so bad?
Short-term versus
Right,
long-term.
or maybe
I don't know if that's-
less interest, because it is, it takes a while before you get reimbursed.
Right.
So we are
have to front those
accruing
costs, so,
interest, so, is that may be part of, with the Park Road, that we had some of those costs into it that maybe weren't accounted for at that time, that we would need to, is there a way to look at that more closely too, because it's a big project?
Yeah, that's definitely an area that, once you get to that point,
Right.
that, yeah, we can definitely look at that potentially, help, maybe assist with, or give some recommendations as ways to, avenues you can go there.
Yeah, until I get a little further into it and have a whole understanding of the way the governmental works versus private.
For sure.
You
Right.
guys have been very helpful, and I'm thankful for that.
No, no problem. Our pleasure. Well, I know we're sort of moving around a little bit there, so I've gone a little long, so I'll make this a little bit more brief here. But so getting onto page 1 was the general fund's balance sheet. So I won't necessarily get too in depth on this because we talked a lot about some of these items already. But the majority of the general fund's assets obviously are in cash and taxes receivable at year end. A lot of the cash being tax collections, so that whole balance there, the $2.4 million in cash, won't all stay at the town. The majority of that was to be dispersed out to the other taxing units. And then, yeah, we talked about the deficit there. I do want to point out that the town did implement a fund balance policy, I believe in 2025. And as part of that fund balance policy, there was a minimum unassigned fund balance portion of that policy, essentially noting that unassigned fund balance in any given year, according to the policy, should be anywhere from 15 to 30% of budgeted expenditures. Now, currently, that's sort of a moot point just because there is a deficit, but once you start getting a positive fund balance back up, then that's where you would start focusing on building that reserve, building that unassigned reserve, to that 15 to 30% sort of ratio there. So again, that might be something down the road, but I at least wanted to remind that you did implement a fund balance policy in 2025. Page 2, top there is essentially a summarized budget to actual statement. I won't necessarily get too in depth on that. I will point out that the budget that the town approves is more on an internal sort of budgetary basis, and it's a little different than the GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles basis, that is in the financial statements. That's on the actual face of the financial statements. So there are some, as I mentioned, there is a budget to actual schedule in the back of the audit report. And so that schedule is more on the budgetary basis, so how you usually formulate your budget. That's the numbers in that budget schedule are more based off of your budget numbers. And then on page 21 of the audit report, we do have a reconciliation, essentially showing, okay, here is what the actual GAAP basis, so again, generally accepted accounting principles, numbers are for your revenues and expenses, the reconciling items that for the budgetary purpose, and then the resulting budgetary amounts related to those reconciling items. So the reason I bring that up is because in the actual column, it's showing that fund balance increased about $150,000 in 2025, where in actuality it increased $677,000. So the reason that there's those differences is just because of the different sort of budgetary bases there. So the comparison of the town's internal sort of budgeting process and budgeted numbers versus the actual GAAP true accounting balances on the face of the financial statement. So it's nothing out of the ordinary there, but I just wanted to point that out, noting that if you take a look like on page 2 of the audit report, you'll see the $677,000 increase in fund balance. But if you take a look at the budget to actual statement in the back of the report, it's about the 150. And again, that's just a difference between budgetary basis versus GAAP basis. But again, nothing out of the ordinary there. And then we have a comparison there of the town's general obligation debt, noting the total debt outstanding at the end of 2025 and comparing that to the overall debt capacity of the town. So as you can see, and so the general obligation debt outstanding, that includes the long-term and short-term loans of the town at year end. And so with the combination of those two amounts, the town was only using 4.48% of its overall debt capacity. So as I sort of mentioned previously, if you were to go out for debt to help finance capital items, roads, equipment, things like that, there is plenty of available debt capacity for the town to do that. And then the next few pages are the sort of the pie charts and the graphs. So I won't necessarily get too in depth on these, but you'll see just depending on the year, there could be fluctuations in your expenditures and in your revenues. For your expenditures on page 3, just really comparing between 2024 and 2025, sort of the larger fluctuations there were in public safety and in capital outlay. Public safety, the main reason for that decrease was just the difference between the Cambridge Fire and EMS, so your budget amounts typically there versus your current sort of outsourced services, those budgeted amounts, so those overall your public safety expenditures have decreased as a result of that. And then capital outlay, so in 2024, that large blue spike there, that was related to Park Road, so then it makes sense that that went back down to in 2025, just due to that large Park Road expenditure in 24. Then page 4, again, just a pie chart there showing essentially the pieces of the pie and the different sort of allocation percentages of each expenditure classification in the past 2 years. And then page 5, 5-year analysis there of the general fund's revenues. As you can see, the largest revenue sources of the town being the overall tax levy, and then the green line there being the intergovernmental revenues. So you'll see that the tax levy has been increasing a little bit, but that was mostly related to essentially the debt service that has continued to be put onto the tax roll there. And then the green line is the intergovernmental, and that has sort of been steadily increasing, but the large increase from 2024 to 2025 again being the LRIP funds for Park Road. But the remaining revenue sources have stayed fairly consistent.
In the pie charts, let me go back a page, but
Yep.
in the pie charts of the general fund expenditures, you actually have it broke down on how the increases from year to year when, like, just say public works, or like why was there a 10% increase there?
Probably it's all based off of total expenditures. So really, if due to the large decrease in capital outlay, for example, that sort of disperses out to the other pieces of the pie. Then it's just a proportionate, it's just their proportionate share basically. So if one line item was sort of consistent the past 5 years, that percentage is probably going to stay sort of consistent. But then if, for example, public
Like road work?
works,
I mean, is road work included in there?
road work is included in there. So public works stayed it actually increased a little bit. So with the large decrease in capital outlay, sort of that percentage decrease was sort of essentially allocated in a way to public works in a sense. So it's all just related to the total expenditures and the proportional shares of
So
each.
Public Works didn't have to change its amount, it's just the total 100%
Exactly right.
became,
Yes.
Exactly
it
right.
became a bigger piece of the pie,
Came from
even though
somewhere
the
else.
amount didn't
Right.
change.
Exactly right.
Well, we did add a staff person.
Right.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's saying here total expenditures were 2.85, and then
It's just-
it went down to 2.0 in 2025. So as other areas decreased, it just was proportionately increasing. So it's not
That's exactly
necessarily the amount.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then you probably have somewhere the actual numbers.
The page
Yeah, so
before.
then on the previous page, on
Page
page
before.
3 are the actual balances there
Okay.
in the table below the graph.
Okay.
And again, all this information comes directly from the audit report as well, so.
Public Works is actually more than Public Safety is.
Okay, so yeah, if you looked at Public Works, it just increased slightly from 2024 to 2025.
Right.
Okay.
Interesting.
And then same situation on page 6, just another pie chart analysis of the general fund's revenues. So yeah, again, intergovernmental revenues increased during 2025, so their sort of percentage of the total revenues for 25 compared to 24 increased about 9% or so. But again, just their proportionate share between years. And then lastly, on page 7 is one final 5-year analysis comparing the general obligation debt to the overall debt capacity, where, as you can see, the red line is the overall debt limit of the town, and the green line is the outstanding debt. And the red line, the debt, and so in the table below, we also note the equalized value of the town, and the reason we have that in there is because the town's overall general obligation debt limit is 5% of the town's equalized value in any given year. So essentially, when the equalized value of the town goes up, so does the town's overall debt limit. So that has been steadily increasing the past 5 years. So just wanted to point that out as well. So with that, are there any additional questions for me with regards to the presentation tonight or the audit overall, or anything I can help look into for you back in the office?
I'm not a numbers person.
Okay.
So do you often come back to towns at budget time, or when, like I said, when you are taking out loans for a road project that you'll get reimbursement for in the end? Is that typically what you would assist towns or other municipalities for, not necessarily?
We wouldn't necessarily come back like for a meeting or anything like that, but we would be available to, if you have questions, whether via email, phone call, meeting, whatever. We can definitely come and assist with helping to formulate your budget, or questions you have on the budget process or things to that nature. We'd definitely be available for that. But we wouldn't necessarily come to a board meeting, but if it's a meeting or phone call, email, whatever, we could definitely assist with that if that.
Well, for loans too, the interest rates have gone a lot higher than they had been when we first started taking out loans.
Last year you were very helpful. We did formulate that other handbook. What was that called?
It's a financial something. I've seen it in the office. I remember having to pull out a copy of it when the auditors were here.
So that was really helpful. I think that really helped the town quite a bit.
Great.
So, we have created that and implemented, so that was a big help for us.
Great. Yeah, it's good to have something like that in place, just so you have those policies in writing, and whether whoever is here, that's the policy of the town, and it's all in writing, and it just helps strengthen your internal control processes in that way.
Right.
So
it's just something we just refer to and continue to do so as needed.
Essentially, yep.
Yeah.
Great, thank you for all your help.
Yeah, no, thank you. Sorry, went a little long, but I appreciate
no
your
problem.
time.
We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Again, I thank you all for all the help that you guys gave me going through the first audit there.
No, of course. Yeah, if we're available throughout the year, so if you have questions throughout the year, don't hesitate to reach out.
Away.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
We
thank you.
appreciate it. Okay. We will move on then to the police report. Chief Leonard, thank you for coming. Thanks, Moose.
Yeah.
It's always good to see him.
Moose is here too. He doesn't get to come now. We have Lieutenant Klumpke come up here. I'm going to have him speak on Lexapol shortly. That is the organization that we use. It's a nationwide organization, and they tailor policy and procedure to specific departments. They meet municipal, state, and federal guidelines to keep us compliant. And it does protect the township overall from any issues such as lawsuits or whatever the case may be if there was some type of action that would be in question. So that is related to our policy and procedure. Lieutenant Klemke has done an excellent job being in contact with Lexipol and making sure that all of our policy and procedures are accurate and meet those qualifications. The first round of the policy and procedure has been completed. So right now, all of the officers have been issued their own thumb drive. They are able to download all of those policies and procedures onto their thumb drive and have it with them, which is an improvement from the past, because in the past, it's all been on paper copies and very outdated. The last time policy and procedure was updated, as I had stated in previous meetings, was in 1996. So this was long overdue. The officers are being held accountable to make sure that they are reading the policy and procedure, checking those boxes off online. And Lieutenant Klemke is in charge of making sure that they are following those guidelines, making sure they read them, and he keeps track of who has completed them and who has not completed them. So I'm going to turn it over to him so he can kind of talk about how Lexipol has kind of made all of these changes for us.
Good evening. So the first page that I handed to you has, on the left side, it's got 10 different chapters. Those are the specific chapters that Lexipol has put together for our agency. With each one of those chapters, there's approximately 90 different policies that Lexipol has put together for us that, again, like the chief said, that there's some best practices, there's state, and there's also federal guidelines that we have to adhere to.
I don't think I got,
What,
was it on the table?
Yes. I can give you mine if you want.
I think I must have got it mixed up.
so as
Thank you.
As Chief stated, there is, the members are also going through each one of the policies. They read them, they acknowledge them. At the end of the month, there's a report that I can bring up and we give it to her so that we make sure that they're in compliance and make sure that they're following along with those guidelines as well. On the second page, just wanted to bring to your attention where it says Policy 103, 103.3 Authority. The Chief of Police shall be considered the ultimate authority for the content and the adoption of the provisions of this manual and shall ensure compliance and with all applicable federal, state, and local laws. The Chief of Police or the authorized designee is authorized to issue departmental directives which shall modify those provisions of the manual to which they pertain. Departmental directives shall remain in effect until such time as they may be permanently incorporated into the manual, which includes, you know, some of the other stuff that has come up in the past. Those are some of the directives that the chief has given, and those are some of the things that the members need to adhere to.
So when we talk about directives, we talk about situations where when I came in as the chief of police, there were certain procedures that were being done in the police department that needed improvement. So a directive means that I have made a decision to change certain procedures, which does not violate policy and procedure, and improve those procedures to make it more efficient for all members of police department. The way that I do those directives is those directives are sent to each officer individually by department and personal email so that they all get that, because I know some department members have difficulty getting into their township email. So they get that notification, then they receive a message from me to a group notification notifying them of the changes in the procedures. And then there's also a posting in the office with the change in the procedures. It is up to each officer to have accountability in making sure that they, one, read their email, two, check their text messages and acknowledge that they receive them, and three, look in the office for the changes. So each officer is held accountable to that. when they violate that directive, they are in violation of policy and procedure. So sometimes, I'll give you an example, evidence, for example, is a procedure. So each department, whether it's here, Fort Atkinson, Jefferson, Oconomowoc, they each have their own specific way that they want evidence or whatever they're taking in to be entered into property rooms, etc., and labeled and sealed and all that stuff. Then there is a custodian that must be able to maintain those issues, which is Lieutenant Klumpke and myself. So when those procedures aren't followed, that's basically a violation of the policy. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, just so you all were aware that those things are monitored by me and those things are disciplined by me when those corrections or those procedures are not followed. And those can change. They could change in a year. Say we get something else that's more efficient than what we have now, then I will do just as I stated now, send out an email, send out a text message, and then post it within the station. So that's how those directives are handled within the police department. And I'll entertain any questions once I get through the rest of my chief's report. So did you have anything else, Lieutenant?
Also, Lexipol also sends us updates when there's a certain policy that through their attorneys and through through the state and federal guidelines that need to be changed. They'll change those, send them to us, and then we'll update our policies from that. In the past week, they sent us 6 different ones that changed our policy. It's just wording, basically, is what they're doing, so.
And then I would invite each of you, if you want to look at the entire policy manual, I have no problem putting that on a flash drive. You can come into the office, take a look at that. If you have a question about a procedure specifically, I invite you to come into my office and meet with me, and we can discuss those procedures. I will say that police procedure is police procedure, and that is how we're going to handle situations as they come up. Okay, not everything is going to be open to public record unless there is a request for an open records type issue. So I just wanted to put that out there. As far as officer changes, all of the officers I have hired and on staff at this time have been fully trained in all patrol duties. There are several new officers on our staff, so this is a very new department at this time. And many of them are very interested in the boat patrol. So I knew you'd be happy about that, Jimmy. They are very willing to learn, and I do have very, very good officers on staff right now, so I'm very happy with my organization, and I'm really excited for them to get out on boat patrol. With that being said, they are new, so we have a learning curve that we're going to be experiencing this summer. Speaking of boat patrol, I've been in contact with our local warden, and he will be putting on a boat patrol training for our new officers in June. We just have to straighten out the details, and what that entails is he will go over approximately 4 hours of boat patrol procedures. That includes boating, operating while intoxicated, and different things that boat officers will look for violations on the lake. He'll also bring his boat in so that they can take a look at different things on the boat and go over different areas of the boat. And pardon me, Jimmy, I don't know anything about boats, so we'll leave it at that. The boat is ready to go out. Officer Whiting did get it into the shed at the marina. So he said everything looks good to go on that. There are new items that we are adding to the boat, such as first aid kits, binoculars, and we have the extra AED in our office that does go out on boat patrol, so I will be sending that out with them. The new first aid kits do include 2 tourniquets in case of an emergency, and there will be new Narcan packs in the AED kits because, as you all know, the incidence of drug overdose is going up. So those are available to both road and boating officers. to help save lives. We did purchase a body camera for our police departments. It's in a trial run right now. I think Lieutenant Klemke is getting some of those bugs worked out. This is going to be a huge improvement to the police department. This is something that the Oakland Police Department has never had. So I'm very excited with how this body camera is operating right now. And then hopefully in the future we'll be able to get the camera in the actual squad car. We're working on some different things with that Lieutenant Klemke and I talked about today. So that is also going to be a very good thing, especially when the traffic citations go to court and there's question on procedures, or if a speed limit sign is in the wrong place, or if they don't see the speed limit sign. As you can see, these things get addressed in court with judges. So that is a very positive move. We do have a contact with the Lake Mills Fire Department. There's a firefighter up there that does CPR training. So our officers, obviously, they have to stay certified every 2 years. We are offering the CPR training to any town board member or town employee. I really encourage all of you to take advantage of that. Sorry. It will be on a Friday, and I believe we schedule it for the morning, but I don't remember.
8
the
to
date.
12:30.
8 to 12:30.
And what day is that?
It is.
I think in June.
June 12th or something like that.
I had it here. Give me just a minute. Where did I write down at? I will get back to you on that shortly.
Okay,
It's here
so
on my
then
stack
do we
thing.
just need to let you know if we're?
Yep, just let me know if you can attend, and I'll get the numbers to the firefighter up in Lake Mills, and then he will that's just so he knows like how many certificates he needs and how much equipment he needs. It will be at the Lake Mills Fire Department, so I encourage everybody to take it. It includes the basic CPR, and then it includes the AED operation. And I know AEDs look scary, but they're not. They're very, very easy to use.
How to do it.
Yep, and then hopefully in maybe next year, the town could invest in a new AED like the police department did. Those are very user-friendly. You just plug it, turn it on, pop the pads on, and you're good to go.
I'll find it, and anyone else who needs it, I will email it. I'm still taking in requests. Mary Schaefer has told me, I think I let you, or maybe I didn't, but Mary Schaefer wants to go.
Okay.
I offered it to Virginia also, and she wants to go, so I'll send out a reminder. It's in my pile of stuff here somewhere. But I will
I think I responded. If I didn't, can you let me know?
Yeah. Anybody who wants to go, I will send out the date tomorrow again as a reminder, and if you want to go, just let me know. I let Leanna know so she could ask her employees if any of them wanted to come, and I'll get you some final numbers.
Yep, and I just want to say that CPR started immediately when there is somebody that has cardiac arrest. There's a very positive outcome. When you add the AED to it, it's an even better outcome, okay? So I thought I would put that out for all of you because I think it's very important. Lieutenant Klemke and Officer Broughton, who's sitting in the back, or standing in the back, they're going to be participating in the Cambridge Parade on Memorial Day, so look for the squad car.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very excited about
You can
that.
go right behind the weed cutter that we have over here.
The weed cutter, yeah,
Yes.
that'd be awesome.
Our weed harvester.
You're putting that in the parade?
We do every year.
Yeah, they do every year.
Oh, I guess I haven't been for a long time.
I have some sad news. Officer Brazzoni, I always get emotional when officers retire. Doesn't matter who they are. Officer Brazzoni is retiring after over 23 years of service.
I didn't know it.
As you know, he was very active in boat patrol.
Yeah.
He had decided that it was time to retire because he has a lot of stuff going on in his personal life that he right now cannot overcome. I won't go into details about his personal issues. This was a very tough decision for him. It took him several months to decide, and over the last 2 months, it was very heart-wrenching for him to make this decision. In fact, he could barely really keep it together when he told me that he had made this decision. I had invited Officer Brazzoni to this town board meeting so that he could say farewell to all of you in his law enforcement career, but he didn't think that he would be emotionally able to do that. So I would like to express my gratitude for his many years of committed service to the community. And if you don't know, he has served several communities throughout those 23 years. I knew Officer Brazzoni when he worked for the Village of Palmyra Police Department. I'm sure the Lake residents will miss him, especially his smiling face, because I don't think he's ever crabby. And he is, you know, just want you to know that he is very sad to be leaving the profession, and he will miss doing the lake patrol.
We'll miss him too.
Yes.
I did find the date. It is June 12th from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m.
Perfect. So, sorry I get emotional. Any time an officer makes it to a retirement in a good space, that is always a very good thing. I'm very much pro peer support, so I have supported him through his years here, and I'm very happy for him that he can actually enjoy his life right now and not have to do this job.
A great asset to the lake and to the community.
Yes, very much so. So with that being said, does the board have any questions of me that I can answer right now?
No. I have a question as a newbie. How many officers are there in Oakland?
So we're at, I believe it's 7 now.
7. Excellent.
Yes.
Wow.
So you'll see them floating around. Some of them do the town board meetings. I make sure that there's always one at the Lake District meetings. We have a couple officers that do the court. They're the court officers when, I think that's like a Tuesday night. And then Lieutenant Klemke, he works usually Monday and Tuesday. He fluctuates sometimes on the weekends or later in the week, depending on what he needs to get done. And then the other patrol officers, they're required to work at least 8 hours in a month to make sure that they stay up to date with the town roads and the procedures and all that stuff. And then we have one officer that's committed to doing like the training for their yearly stuff, like their firearms qualifications and things like that.
So we have one squad, and then we have the boat and the jet ski, correct?
Yes,
Those
we
are the
have
units?
the one squad, we have the boat and the jet ski, and then the white SUV out in the parking lot. That's what we use to tow the boat now back and forth to the lake. And what that does is that frees up the main squad, so if another officer wants to work road patrol on the same time frame, it's not sitting down at the lake and not doing anything, basically. So that white car also, because it sits here over the winter, we have trouble with the battery and all that jazz, because it's not being used, because it's not boat season. So that key is actually hung up in the clerk's office now, and we encourage the town employees to use that vehicle, especially in the winter, because it just keeps the battery running, and we don't have to keep replacing the battery in the vehicle, and, you know, save money that way. But then in the summer, it'll have to be dedicated for the patrol and boat patrol.
Good to know, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions from anybody?
Can we send a card from the board to
Yes, we
officer
should.
someone? I don't know if there are procedures or
We
things
could just do,
We could do a resolution.
yeah, we can
Yeah.
do a resolution next month for him.
Sure.
So that would be great. We'll get some information from you for that.
Yeah, I think you would really appreciate it. And I tried to talk him into coming tonight, but he's like, he goes, I can't do it. He's like, I wouldn't make it through the meeting. So, and rightfully so, when you've been in law enforcement that long. I mean, I've been in law enforcement for almost 30 years. Lieutenant Klemke longer than me. We've worked together for a long time, so I understand where he's coming from with the emotional aspect of it.
We'll do a resolution and then send him a nice card with it, so he'll get that and know that we care about him and we wish him a lot of luck in his future.
Yeah, I wish him luck too, and we had some good conversations over the last few weeks, so.
Is he still teaching, do you know?
He is.
He's a teacher, too.
He's hanging in there for the teaching part, so. And he works with special needs kids, so he is very, very much in for the community and very much for helping people. So this was a really hard blow for him when he decided to, resign, or retire, I should say.
I'll pick him up a nice card and try to get it into the office next week, so anyone who wants to come in and sign it can do so, as well as the resolution.
Thanks for your updates. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Yeah, no
thank you
problem.
for all
Thank
you
you.
do for us.
Oh,
We
you're
really
welcome.
appreciate it. We're fortunate to have all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being at our meetings, too.
Oh,
That's really
absolutely.
important, and Lake Board meeting and others. so.
Yeah, when we take, safety and security and, community service, we take it very seriously. I want my officer to be community-oriented people, and I encourage them to get out in the public, like the parade, for example, whenever they can, just to establish those good relationships, because police have to do that.
Well, and thank you for offering to be there for elections. Mine so far have been pretty simple to get through, but the day
Absolutely.
may come when someone's a little riled up, and I thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and it might not even come from a city or a township resident. It could be anybody from off the street that just
Right.
pops in and
Right.
causes a problem.
Right.
So.
No, thank you for your service, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Anything
you.
else? Yep.
Before you guys move on, I do need to put a break in the recording.
Okay.
From that time. All right, you guys are good to resume.
Okay. We will move on to discussion and possible action on operator's license for Tracy Gray.
Tracy Gray is going to be working at the Busy Barn also. I ran the background check. I also did a little extra checking because she's a part-time Wisconsin resident, and I wasn't sure exactly how that works, but as long as they have been here for 90 days, they are good to over 18 years of age, have taken the beverage, the safe beverage training. So I would recommend that we offer her an operator's license.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve Tracy Gray's operator license.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion from Jimmy and a second from Joy. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of granting an operator's license to Tracy Gray, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. We'll move on to number 10. Discussion and possible action on discussion and possible action on picnic license for the Lions Club.
This one was a new one to me, so I had to do a little digging to pull it out, but they have required this every year. He's giving us the date. They're doing a 2026 Ripley ride on July the 25th, and it's a temporary Class B license, and they've done it every year. So I am recommending that we approve this for the Lions for their, a temporary license for their Ripley ride, July 25th.
Yeah, it's just for one day, right?
It's just for one day.
I'll make that motion to approve the Lions Club.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Jimmy and a second by Joni. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the picnic license for the Lions Club, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I don't,
That came along with, that was his request. Did you get the license page, this one?
yes, I got that, but I wasn't sure
Yeah,
what
that
this
goes
was.
along, that goes along with it. That was him giving me the date that it was going to be and that information. And then the temporary bartender licenses for Leslie Rump and Grady, I don't know how you pronounce that, Shaner, maybe.
So are we giving them a
That goes
temporary
all-
bartender's?
this
Because
all
that's not
goes to-
written on here.
It all goes together. It's $10 for them to do the license, and the way Susan had it in the past was $10 for each one of them. I'll issue them the temporary picnic, and they don't do that other regular license. There's some special regulation having to do with temporary licenses, as long as they have it all in one location.
Okay, so instead of just the permit for the Lions Club, we're also
It's
doing the
it's-
Leslie Rumpf and Brady
Yep, that all
Schoen.
goes together.
Do we need to amend the motion then?
No.
No, but like I said, it all goes together.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to discussion and possible action on repealing and recreating ordinance number 6, ordinance regulating the parking, location, occupation of mobile homes, licensing and regulating mobile home parks, providing for the taxation of mobile homes, and providing a penalty. So this is the beginning of quite a few ordinances that we had started to work on. So what we are doing here is repealing an amendment from December of 2023 that refers to section 5.6 that doesn't actually exist. So we are repealing section 5.6, procedures for notifying occupants of monthly fees. And then we're recreating the amendment repealed above in an appropriate section. And to create section 5I, procedures for notifying occupants of monthly fees. And then amend it to reflect the fee schedule. So we amend section 3C, fee for mobile home licenses, amend section 5G, fines for failing to reporting requirements, and section 6, fee for transfer of license, and amend section 19, penalties for violations of an ordinance. So we're taking all those fees, and we will put them in the fee schedule, and we will vote on them later after we finish all of the ordinances. So that is here in your first packet. And so, the other one is just kind of a cleanup as we're going through those. If we find anything glaring that really needs to be amended at that time, we will do that. Otherwise, we're just going to amend the fee schedule section.
I would renew my request the last time that why don't we just recreate the entire ordinance? Now, this is the 5th ordinance 6 we have. So if you want to look at what ordinance 6 says, you have to read 5 different ones. It doesn't make sense.
The reason why is then we'd have to go through line by line with everything. And now we're just saying, we're just changing the fee schedule. If we repeal and recreate, we're saying that we've looked through the whole ordinance. It's just easier at this time to just do the fee schedule, and then later we can go back. Otherwise, we will be here for.
So the recreate is what you're referring to, is to go back, and if it needs
Right.
recreation at a later date, that's what we'll look at
All
doing?
you have to do is copy and paste.
Well, it's also signifying that that you're looking line by line at everything, and in these cases, we're not necessarily doing that.
But we should be, because now we've got 5 ordinance 6
Okay.
things to look through. I mean, okay, you're violating ordinance 6. Okay, well, let me read through 5 of them and see which part you're violating. I'm sorry, but I'm just renewing that request that we don't do it this way. We do the entire ordinance and end up with one clean ordinance.
Well, I think that's the goal, right?
That's the goal, but for
then we
now.
have to do this all over again.
Well, on an individual basis, but we did agree to pull the fee schedules out of these to move forward with the process. We all
Right.
agreed to that
We did agree to that.
Yeah.
We did.
When did we all agree to that?
when we started this process.
Last time I said that I would prefer if we did the
No, I
entire.
know you did, but we all agreed to take the fee schedules out and put them into the major document so we
Right.
all could find the fee schedules. And then the recreate is to go back and look at these at a later date.
And
Right.
when is that going to happen?
Well, look how many there are. I mean, it's going to
There's
happen
just
a
so
little
Well,
bit.
I
many
know
of them.
it would be so much more efficient if we just did it now.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense
It would
to me.
just take a
Does
lot
not
of
make any
extra
sense to me.
time, and
So we were taking
And then we
another
can't-
entire
Well, this
extra time.
accomplishes one thing. It accomplishes us to get the fee schedule out of here.
Yes, that's what we're trying
Because
to
if we
do.
did them individually, we couldn't do the fee schedule until they were all done? Is
No,
that
we
true?
could
No,
do
we
it.
could, we
You
just
could.
couldn't get them done as quickly. And the
quickly as
goal
they
is to
can.
get all of the ordinances with a fee out, get the fee out of the ordinance itself into the fee schedule. So then we can revise the fee as needed, and as opposed to down the line always.
See, how this came about was, we were revising fees, then we didn't put the fee back into the ordinance, that it was revised. So then we created this really cool system that you guys worked on, you and Laura worked on for a long time, to create a master agreement with all the fees. So now we have to pull the fees out of the ordinance, which is remove the ordinance, and then the recreate will come later, as we have time.
Well,
So
this is
That's what we already
recreating
agreed
it.
to.
No, it's not what we all agreed.
It is. We
I'd like
agreed
to
it.
listen to that on the
Okay,
YouTube.
well, this is what we're doing for now. If you, you know,
I'd like to renew.
okay.
It just makes so much more sense from a legal background that we have one ordinance and not 5.
That's the goal in the end, though.
Yeah, but you're going to take how
Well,
much
you
more
could take-
time?
Well,
Yes.
you could take an entire night going through one ordinance, or more.
This one wouldn't have taken an entire night.
I'm not saying that that one would have, but there are plenty, well, if there's 4 or 5 or 6 of them, maybe it would.
Well, that's what we're
Well,
doing
let's go
tonight.
back to the minutes, because I'm pretty sure that's what was
Okay.
agreed on before, was to pull all the dollar amounts
All right.
out.
If you give me the,
Okay, this is what we have before us tonight. So,
just renewing my request
okay,
from now.
all right. I will talk
It
to
would
Laura.
be so much simpler to
I
do
will
it
talk
that
to
way.
Laura Lowry, and we will have her here to help with that. Okay.
Well, and she is not going to be here for, she's already given us information that she's not planning on, that she will be retiring in, not the near future, but she's not going to be here forever. So
I
then
bet
if we go
next
back
month.
and recreate all these ordinances, then we won't have Laura.
Okay, well, I will go back and talk to her because she will be here this week, and we will see what we do for next month. But this is what we have to vote on tonight. So
Okay.
let's move forward with tonight. And so we are at ordinance number 6. And here's the changes. And like I said, we will go over the fee schedule after we work on the ordinances. So, any questions? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to repeal and recreate ordinance number 6.
Okay.
And what
So
chapter
we
is
do
that?
Section 6, and that is going into Chapter 1, licenses and permits.
So are we calling this just ordinance 6 or ordinance 2026-6? Which is something that we've implemented to now,
It's-
within a year.
It is just going to stay ordinance number 6, because we are not recreating and repealing
The
the
entire
entire thing.
ordinance.
So it'll stay ordinance number
It's
6.
And I'm
screw-
sorry, which
It's
chapter
totally
did you say?
screwy in my
Chapter 1,
mind.
licenses and permits.
Chapter 1 license.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further? Okay, all in favor of ordinance number 6 in Chapter 1, license and permits, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. We are moving on to ordinance 37, establishing a curfew in the town of Oakland. This ordinance is being amended to reflect the fee schedule and to note state statute. So there was a change in the state statute. So that was found and changed. And this motion needs to include amending the ordinance in Chapter 5 courts.
Chapter 5, courts.
Mhm.
So I make a motion to repeal and recreate Section 6 of Ordinance 37 of the Municipal Code in the Town of Oakland in Chapter 5 courts, did you say?
Yes. Okay, we have a motion on the floor?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Joni, second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. We will move on to ordinance 41, prohibiting the sale, possession, manufacturing, and delivery of drug paraphernalia by person under the age of 18, repealing and recreating Section 1D2. Sorry, I have too many papers here.
Number 13.
Number 13, okay. And Section 1D2, penalties. And so that one,
Chapter 13 penalties, is that what that is?
yes.
I'm just
so
writing it down.
So that is
Oh,
this.
I don't know if that's chapter 13 or not. I was going number 13 on the
Oh,
agenda.
the agenda.
zoning.
No, Section 1D2 penalties. So this is prohibiting the sale of drugs under 18. It's being amended to reflect the fee schedule and to note state statute. And this too would go into Chapter 5 courts. So here's the section with the penalties.
We found it interesting, Vanessa, that it said just under 18. Is there a difference between being over 18 or under 18? With the drug paraphernalia?
Yeah.
It was just, we were talking about it in the office. It's like, this seems kind of strange. Why wouldn't it be anyone? But is there some reason?
What is it? What does it say?
It's discussion.
Prohibiting the
Go
sale,
ahead.
possession, manufacture, and delivery of drug paraphernalia by persons under the age of 18.
Maybe you make corn
Yes,
cob
because
pipes.
There's a difference between a juvenile charge and an adult charge.
Okay,
So
okay,
if they're under, so 17 or under is a juvenile charge.
okay,
18 or older is an adult charge.
okay. That makes sense to me. But just reading it in the office, we're like, this sounds pretty.
Yeah, because municipalities change their fees according to age. So if it's a juvenile charge, usually it's a lesser fee.
Okay,
And then if it's an adult charge, it's a higher fee.
okay.
I'll make a motion to repeal and recreate ordinance 41.
Okay, to go into
Chapter
Chapter 5.
Well, and you have to say the section number.
Yes, so it would be Section 1D2 penalties. Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of the motion to repealing, recreating ordinance 41, Section 1D2, penalties to go into Chapter 5 courts, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay. We will go on to, we'll be happy, you will be happy, Joy, because this is discussion and possible action on ordinance 2026-60, repealing and recreating 2025-60, ordinance 60, driveway and highway access permits. So we have, from 2025, we had this driveway and highway access permit. So you have in your packet here of the ordinance, and it has a few, yeah, it was just
Got
in
it.
the right,
Nope.
wrong order. The red line of what was added. We have, part of this was because we did have some issues lately with somebody not getting a open road permit. So we did clarify some of the things in here. And we also added a penalty section because we did not have a penalty section in here. We actually had a penalty section in another ordinance, number 44. For some reason, there's two driveway and highway access permits ordinances, so we'll get to that one in a second. But you can see here some of the changes that were made with the penalties, and then just some clarifications on.
I believe with yours, she gave you a red line copy, and she also gave you a copy with the
Right, and I
changes
do
on it.
have a couple changes that I would make.
Okay, would Tell me.
where it says proper signage needs to be
Wait, what page
used.
you on?
Where are you?
I'm
Please
on
tell me.
page 3 of the, well, yeah, 3.
Okay, what section?
The red proper signage.
B,
Where? What section?
sewer laterals, road opening permits,
You're on page, where are you at?
3. The top of 3.
Okay,
And
proper
this-
signage needs to be used when closing the road.
Okay, so I would use proper signage shall be used.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
town
we
of-
were just trying to make the ordinance and the permit application consistent. That's why we had just changed it to needs to be
Okay.
used.
Well, if we're ordering
Okay.
in an ordinance, I think,
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, we can do that. I'm just.
I would
giving you-
use proper signage shall be used,
Shall's a better word.
Okay.
shall. And then the next line, Town of Oakland need to be contacted, shall be contacted.
Okay.
Because I do think that they use the word shall in some of this. And then under inspection compliance fee, all driveways and sewer lateral backfill shall be inspected. That's what I have.
Okay, that's fine. That's not a,
Wait, you want to remove must be and you're going to put shall there? Is that what you said?
yeah,
Right, if you're ordering that it needs to be done, I would use the word shall,
okay,
Right after backfill?
okay,
yes.
okay. We're not
Shall be
changing any of the
inspected.
intent, so, we can just
Right,
make that
no, I
change.
just-
So, yeah, the penalties are incorporated from ordinance number 44, and this would go into Chapter 3, highways.
Chapter 3 highways. Okay, I'm trying to get it, so I make a motion that ordinance 2026-60, driveway and highway access permit ordinance, repealing and recreating the ordinance of 2025-60, the municipal code of the town of Oakland goes into chapter 3 highways.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe.
No, it's.
I'm trying.
You're doing great. These are complicated ones.
I will second that.
Okay, David seconds. Any further discussion?
With the amended shells.
With
With
the
the
amended
amended
shells.
shells.
What
Yeah.
chapter
The
was
amended-
it?
That needs to
Sorry.
be in the
Did you say
Yes.
Yeah.
motion.
Thank
Okay,
you.
sorry.
With the amended shells.
Shells.
What did
Okay,
you say? Chapter
Chapter 3.
3. Okay.
Okay, do you have that on yours, or would you like a copy of mine?
I'm going down the list here and writing things down as you're
Okay.
going through
All
them.
right,
So
I'll
I
put
will
that
make
up.
sure when I go back through the
Okay.
minutes and everything, I'm just trying to
Okay.
get all the stuff down.
All right.
I'll second.
Okay, a second.
Dave-
David
Oh,
second.
sorry, David.
Okay,
Don't override me, Jimmy. Don't-
David second.
Feel
All in
important.
favor of the
Aye.
motion?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Let's move on to discussion and possible action on repealing ordinance 44, an ordinance to require permits to perform work in or upon a town highway in the town of Oakland. And again, this one, for some reason, there was a 44, and instead of just repealing and recreating 44, years ago, they made a whole new ordinance, 60. So it's no longer needed, it's just redundant, so we're just repealing it.
I'll make a motion to repeal ordinance 44.
Second.
Okay, and I believe that also needs to be placed in Chapter 3 highways.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of repealing ordinance number 44 in its
Aye.
entirety, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right, so now we're going to move on to discussion and possible action on Resolution 2026-1005, repealing Resolution 1005, setting the permit fee to perform work in or upon a town highway and the penalty forfeitures. So again, that this was setting a fee, so all we need to do is remove this, and then we will rescind this, and we will, it's just another redundancy to work in the highways. So we're just repealing.
So you need a motion to?
Yes, we need repealing resolution
repeal resolution
1005.
2026-10005, repealing the 1005 setting permit fees.
Okay. And this doesn't have to go into a chapter?
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving on to number 17. Discussion and possible action on amendment of resolution 2026-02 fee schedule for ordinance resolution changes in previous agenda items. So we have the resolution here to change some of the fees from what we just did. We can go over where we have some of that. I thought we had a red line of that. Okay. Here we go. I have it here. So we removed the permit fee and violation fees that were tied to ordinance 44. So that included working a town road, permit fee $10, and violation upon conviction per day, minimum of $20, because we already have some others in there for the highways. We added an additional penalty for failure to obtain a driveway permit, and then the initial penalty for that is $100. So if they don't get a permit, they're just charged $100. There will not be any per day additional penalties for a driveway. We changed, actually, I have to stand up. I think this needs to come out. Work.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it. She just gave me the copy and told me to make copies for the packet, so I haven't looked at it. Which one?
Okay, here we need to take this out. I'm going to move to take out work in upon the highway road opening $75. That one needed to come out because, did that one need to come out?
Well, there was supposed to be one for.
Oh, no, it's
opening-
supposed, oh, no, that's supposed to be in there still. Okay, sorry. Work in upon the, never mind. I'm confusing two things. It's getting late. Leave that in there. So we still have, so we have the work upon a town highway road, so that's the opening permit. It will stay $75. Jeff Shield, our road supervisor, has expressed his desire to have the initial fee, the initial penalty of $500. It is a steep charge, but when you open the road and they haven't called, like the sheriff's department, they have not been, if he's not there to see it, he's not quite sure what they're backfilling it in. So it's really important that this permit gets issued and that he can oversee this and what is happening.
Well, and this last guy, it was open for what, 20 days
Yes, yes.
without
So-
letting us know?
This doesn't have anything to do with the ordinances that we just.
It does, it's just the fee, it's just the penalty for it. So it's just the penalties. We said the penalty is going to be in the fee schedule, and that's going to be the initial penalty, and it's going to be $500 if you don't get the permit, and then every day that you don't get the permit, it's going to be another $50. So this has just come up. So there's somebody that owes $1,000. We already had the $50 in here, Jeff and I talked, and we decided to keep that $50, but also give initial penalty of $500 because of the concerns he has with not filling it in properly. And this will hopefully deter anybody, such as contractors really, from not getting the permit.
Okay, I guess I was just confused for a second because what we just did doesn't include the fees. So when we get to this part of it, we just put what the fee is.
Right, so in 60, we said, refer to the fee schedule for the penalties and the fees.
Now we have to approve the fee.
We have to approve the fees. So this is the fee schedule that we have, and so here are the changes that we're making to the fee schedule based on that. The other item is the right-of-way utility permit. We don't need to work on that ordinance, but we decided with all the right-of-way utility permits that we were going to increase from $75 to $150. It is a lot of work for our staff. They have to go out, they have to inspect, ensure that everything is done properly, and our right-of-way is returned to original conditions. So that does cost the town money to do so. So, that was a change there of $150. And then for the court section, we changed the amount for curfew violation to what is allowed by state statute. It said a minimum of $10, maximum of $500 in the ordinance, but we're just making it based on the state statute. The curfew violations is $50. Okay. So those are the changes that were made. Everything else remains the same.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the Resolution 2026-02 fee schedule per ordinance/resolution changes.
Amendment.
Amendment, okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right. We are done with ordinances for the evening.
Hip, hip, hooray.
Hip, hip, hooray. We will be doing this a few more times, quite a few more times, but we'll get through it. So Enbridge update. I did talk to Caroline Rice from the DNR. Enbridge did submit their site investigation plan, so it's everything that they've done since the spill was discovered. All of that data has been reported in the past, but it's going to be in one big report now, and it'll have recommendations on how to move forward. It was just received last week. As of yesterday, it wasn't on their Birds on the Web website. They'll have 60 days to review it and give comments to them. So I don't have anything to report on what it says or anything like that at the moment, but they will be responding, the DNR, and giving their comments to them. And they'll go back and forth, I assume, for a little bit. The soil vapor extraction pilot test, as I had mentioned, I don't know if you were here then, they completed that. There was a report that was submitted, and the site is conducive for the soil vapor extraction, which is a way to remediate the site and remove additional oil. And they have not yet submitted a design plan for that large-scale system. And I did speak to Enbridge, and they thought that would be done in the next few months, and probably start that and complete the system construction in late summer, early fall. I asked him too about coming to one of a town hall meeting to discuss further what is happening and let our residents hear from them. They are talking about that internally, and it'll probably happen after all of this other work is done, so it would be a better timing to get all the information out there. So I'll keep in contact with them. So that's all I have. It's not too much for the moment, but
I have a request. Can you give us a written report in our packets instead of, I mean, you're requiring things for the packets written.
yeah, I can write something, but we're not, sometimes I get it, sometimes information's coming in at the last minute that I
know,
want
but
to.
you require
I understand
of
that.
others,
Well, we're not
including me.
voting. We're not voting on anything. We don't have
Well, I know.
jurisdiction.
If for anything to be on the agenda, you've always required me to have a written something to you a week ahead of time.
Well, if it's something we need to vote on, then we need to have that
What if it's
information in
just
advance.
request for discussion?
Okay, I'll put something on there. I'll put something in there.
I mean, we all need to be consistent with each other. I mean, if you're requiring me to do something, I would guess
Okay.
that you would require yourself to do the same thing.
But I'm saying the reason behind it is that we're not voting on anything. You don't need anything in advance to look through it. But if you want something, I will do it, but that is the rationale for it. So, okay, so we'll move on to approval of disbursements.
There needs to be a YouTube video on how to do these things.
This was
Tom's
thing, so,
Yeah.
Well, you can look through it's easy to find the past YouTube videos, and you just zip to the end, and you'll see how Tom did it every time.
He would say something like this, Johnny. He would say,
starting
I
with-
approve, or
starting
make a
with
motion to
2040,
approve.
84.
Oh, go ahead, David.
You do it, David.
Come
You
on,
got
David.
this.
I'll just say, going through this, the general fund checking, we're going through draft from check number 2084 to check number 2150
Yeah.
for approval.
You have to include, though, the ACHs. That's
ACHs
what
at
you
the
usually do,
beginning?
start with
Okay.
that at
Yeah.
the top.
Okay, so all these electronic transfer payments
Or the ACH.
down through check number 2150.
Yep. And then typically you would read the total at the end.
Yeah, which is 136, 434, and 86 cents.
I'll second.
Okay,
Perfect. Thank you.
all right, all in favor of the disbursement, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on to correspondence.
Correspondence.
We
One
wanna-
second here, let me.
Okay, I'll start. We have here proclamation from the Governor's Office for Professional Municipal Clerks Appreciation Week. So thank you for all you do for us. Being a municipal clerk is a very difficult job, lots of moving parts, so thank you, and we appreciate you.
There you go.
So that is in here.
You got your official seal from the Gov.
Do you have it hanging in the office?
I have the officially
There it
color
is.
version. Oh, boy, oh, boy.
The gold one?
Yeah, the gold one.
Oh,
That's the retirement grant, or retirement,
Recycling
recycling
grant.
grant that we just were awarded by the state of Wisconsin. There is a report that has to be filled out, gathering the information from Green for Life or whoever's doing our garbage. They send me a report with the total tons of recyclables that we do, the number of people, how many tons per person. You send the report in, they use some wonderful formula to figure out, and they say, here is your award. So we
24
are
cents a
awarded
person.
$7,619.23.
All right. Thank you.
Money's money.
The next thing I had in there was just the fire department thing was in there again. There's my
Lake
note
Mills
about
Blind
that.
Spot.
Just a reminder
okay,
about
this
the.
is, we're moving into, oh, no.
Yep,
Just correspondence?
This was the fire one
Okay.
that Chief Russ had given us before with the dates.
Okay.
Which one did he say? May 21st was out. So,
Yeah, May
He had the
21st
top
and the
and
last.
bottom one.
oh, and the June, so does anyone have a preference on May 28th or June 4th?
What are we talking about?
It is for a second quarter meeting, it says.
Lake
So-
Mills.
Blue Lake Mills Fire Chief has a meeting at his fire station, and all the
Okay.
June would be
municipalities,
good.
towns that service them come
Which-
to it.
June, the June date?
The June date, June the 4th?
Yeah, I'm
Oh, it-
I'm
it-
gone
it was-
all of those
Oh.
middle dates.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll cover for you.
Do you have any preference,
It's okay.
Jimmy? Joy already
Yeah.
gave me hers. Do you have any preference?
What day of the week is the,
Have you been to any
I would have to look
What?
and see, I don't know.
Meetings?
with Lake Mills Fire?
I don't know, maybe not.
let me look at my calendar.
What were the dates again?
got 'em right
May
here.
28th or June the 1st is available, and it looks like the
Actually-
6 to 8 PM was the preferred time.
28th
I-
is a
Thursday. I'm going to say
I
June.
could do the 28th, I can't do the June 4th, but whatever.
Okay, we can, why don't we, can you make the 28th?
Yeah, that's the one I chose, I believe, isn't it?
I think so. I have the stuff back in the office,
That's
and I
fine,
sent
'cause
it
somebody
to
will be
the
there.
chief earlier.
Okay, we'll say we'll ask them for the 28th, but if it's the June 4th, at least some of us can go to that.
Okay,
Yeah, and they're
Okay.
both Thursdays.
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Reminder about the fall prevention going on next Thursday, 2 to 3 PM.
And that is also May 28th, but it's at 2 to 3.
Here at the town hall. It's posted, I believe, well, it's posted in quite a few places. We have it online. It's just kind of a reminder. Posted at the library, posted at the post office.
The senior meals were given that during the daytime meals that the CAP has. They announced it and passed those around. Would you just put another announcement on the
Yeah,
the
we can do that
website?
tomorrow.
Yeah.
When we put up the announcement about the Oakland Board of Review.
Yeah,
So we're
just
gonna
put that
kinda
up
follow
too.
on that.
Just as a reminder, so I recommend anybody who is an older adult that may have some issues that
Why are you
would
looking
cause
at
them
me?
to
It's
Why are
like
you
fall
looking at me?
or
Why are you looking
70
at me like
plus? Is that what you're trying to say nicely?
anyone who's old.
I told
You
them at the
unstable
library, it
people.
says it doesn't matter
The
how
age that
old
starts
you
with a
are,
7
older
or-
means maybe you've always
Yeah,
served,
it could be
not
that. It could be if you have a,
True.
anything, or you have a loved one that may be more prone to falls.
Yeah,
I think this would be a really great seminar to come through. They'll talk about what you can do to prevent some falls, what you would do if you fell, and go through the process of what to expect when EMS comes. So I think it'll be a great course, and I recommend people attend. And it's being put on by the Fort Fire Department. And all is welcome to come for free.
So this is the letter that Michael sent me today. I was instructed to give it to you. Notice that it does say confidential attorney-client communication. I was instructed to give it to you, let you look it over. There is to be no discussion on it today. Michael will be here next month. He will be willing to discuss it at that time.
Can this wait for another month, according to the recommendation?
That's what he
told me to do.
That's what he said. If we need to have a special meeting for it, then we can do so. But at this time, he said we can talk about it next month.
Just another notice, FYI, piece of information. Jeff finally found a new employee for Public Works. He will be starting June the 1st. Didn't find out about it until late in the morning on Friday, so we didn't get it onto the agenda. Hopefully, maybe he'll have the gentleman come so we can all meet him next month. I don't know anything about him other than his name. I had to submit that so I can get him set up for a drug and alcohol test, so.
Great. It's good to have somebody on board again,
Yes,
especially
Jeff
as
is
we
very
get into.
happy. He says,
yeah,
I have so
into-
many projects and not
Yeah.
enough people to do it all.
Great, thank you. Any further correspondence or announcements?
I don't have anything else, I don't think. The training that I went to on alcohol and Board of Review was very helpful. I did mention to all of you supervisors that I ordered a video. If you want to come and watch the video, now that I did the training there, you can actually be certified. I mean, we already have the two, but you can be certified by watching the video and going through the test with me. I thought it might be helpful, especially since it's a year of reevaluation. We might wind up with lots of objections, potentially, to assessed amounts, so you understand how the whole trial thing works. I don't know how many hearings you've had to do with people doing objections before. Susan didn't make it sound like it was that many, but I mean, there's a script that you have to follow, so if you want to, Joan has already expressed interest in watching the video. I don't have it here yet. You want to do it, David?
Please.
Okay. As soon as I have it, we'll set up a time that will work for people, and we'll sit down and we can watch it. If you want to come to, Jimmy, you certainly can. Like I said, I think it will just be helpful. The video that I ordered is one that we watched there. The first part of it was, as they call it, unprepared taxpayer presenting their case, and the second one was about the Board of Review giving a waiver. So anybody who has a court case going, say like Busy Barnes, they recommend, since they're already objecting to prior years, that you just give them a waiver and you don't go through the whole trial thing. So it goes through both of those options so you can see what they are and how the whole thing will work. It was very helpful for me.
Okay,
How
so,
long is the video? Sorry, just.
I don't know off the top of my head,
Okay.
Joan. Like I said, it was 2 little pieces. When I get it, I'll see if it gives me a running
So is
length.
it the actual Board of Review training?
Yes. Yes,
So
we
it's
did
4 hours.
Well, there's different videos, because Laura said you guys only saw one
the
video?
court case, so it's not the whole, it's just the videos, it's
The
not,
actual training is 4 hours.
yes, but it's not the whole training, it's just videos like the video we saw.
Well, and it's the exam, though,
So
too.
And
how
the
can
exam.
they be
The
Okay,
exam.
so
certified then?
4 hours or so.
That doesn't make sense.
The exam, though, too,
Okay,
because we'll go through the exam.
deal.
I'm going with what the lady told me from the state.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Well, and I have, the request was if I had shared any of the information from the Cambridge Fire and EMS, and I did share that in your mailboxes, what I had gotten at the Cambridge Fire and EMS Commission meeting on April 29th. That was a couple weeks ago. I put that memo in, so you did get the handouts there. Plus, on the table, I put an updated, Laura had requested that I do the views on YouTube. How many
for the
views
cable
people were viewing the YouTube recordings, and I updated that for 2026 so to date, or to, well, of course, it doesn't include today's date,
No,
but it does show 600 and some for our annual meeting and last town board meeting. It's a lot.
okay.
Good.
Thank you. All right, anything else? Okay, we'll move on to future agenda items. Like Wendy said, our attorney, Michael Van Clunen, will be here. We'll talk about this. He will also be here to talk about the solar farm. We will have that on,
That's on next month.
that'll be on next month.
Great.
All the liquor licenses will be on next month, renewal of those, and operator licenses, they all get renewed at the end of June, so there will be a big long list of all those people. They're turning in packets in the office right now, so that will be on next month. And also
More of these ordinances.
cigarettes and vaping. I think we have a few places that have cigarette licenses. I don't remember off the top of my head where they are, but there's like 3 of them maybe.
I would like to request the Oakland, Cambridge, or Cambridge-Oakland Cable Commission be on the agenda, as well as the Cambridge Fire and EMS Commission, at least for discussion. There's no reason we can't just have a discussion on this. We can't talk to anybody individually. I mean, when can we discuss as to how everybody is feeling about going back to the Cambridge Fire and
Okay,
EMS?
well, you can make a motion, but we really don't want to have a long discussion on, we don't have it on our agenda right now. So we can't really,
I know, but you're talking about future agenda items.
I know, but
I
we-
would like that to be on the agenda
okay.
for discussion.
All right, would you like to make a motion?
Did you make a motion for the other things to be on the agenda? Okay, I'll make a motion to have discussion of Cambridge Fire and EMS Commission on the agenda for June 16th.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Anybody want to second my motion?
Okay. Hearing none, motion fails.
Well, that just doesn't seem right. I mean, you just went over all these things that are going to be on a
They are
future agenda.
statutory requirements. They're statutory requirements.
A statutory requirement for,
The licensings or
Licensing definitely is.
okay.
the solar
So I
farm?
have to publish it for so many days, and then if anyone has any objections to it, they could
Okay.
potentially object and
All
send
right,
it to
well,
the
then
license.
I'll make a motion for the Oakland, or Cambridge Oakland Cable Commission to be on the next agenda.
Okay, do we have a second?
Sure.
Okay,
Second.
Can you second that for me? Thank you.
okay.
I'd like to make an amendment to that motion then. I would like to have a complete and full budget with bylaws ready for us to review.
Okay. I will second the amendment. Okay, so we will need to,
To
Can we
vote
have
on the
discussion?
no, we talked to the WTA. Because,
We can't have a discussion on the motion that he just made?
Nope.
Seconded?
We can't have discussion. We can make motions, we can approve motions, we can deny, or
because it's not on our agenda. I asked them specifically. We talked to them because I was concerned about how do we.
I would like to speak with you after the meeting.
Okay.
We have to continue, we cannot have discussion. She is correct.
Yeah.
The chair is correct.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
not arguing anymore.
Thank
I'm
you.
not voting for it.
Thank you.
Okay,
I just asked her to meet with me after the meeting.
okay. So we have a,
you have to vote on the
we have to
amendment.
vote on the amendment. So all in favor of the amendment, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. All right, motion carries. So we'll have to go back to the original with the amendment in there, was to have it on the agenda with the budget and bylaws. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Motion carries. All right.
So it will be on the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the
With the budget and the bylaws?
with the budget and
I
bylaws.
already have the budget, just
Okay.
to let you know that. It's just the bylaws are needing to be discussed with Cambridge. And I'm having trouble setting up.
Okay. We'll talk about that later. Let's just move on. It's getting late. So we,
Public comment?
public comment.
Lauren Kelly. So I've been to enough of these meetings, I've never seen anyone have to make a motion for an agenda item to be discussed. Fire and EMS is something you should absolutely be discussing at every meeting. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The townspeople who came to the meeting told you that's what they want. You were elected by them. That's what they want. So you're telling them, no, we're not going to do what you asked. On the record, that's what you're saying to us all. You won't even put it on your agenda for discussion. I didn't know I was going to have to say that exactly, but what I did want to come up and say as a point of clarification, Chief Russ stated, or at least implied, that the municipalities are interested in leaving the district. That is not accurate. Essentially, that would dissolve the district. If any of you had been at the meeting, you would know the reason that they filed their notice to withdraw is so that they would have options. So they are looking at everything. they're talking about, and if Joy gave this to you, I would suggest looking at it and reading the whole thing, because when you look at the coverage districts, it doesn't take much to see where the town of Oakland, especially the entirety of Lake Ripley Falls, and the proximity to the Cambridge Fire Station versus Lake Mills. Chief Leonard mentioned some protections that they're doing within the police department to prevent lawsuits. What do you think is going to happen with EMS services when more people are dying? I don't understand why you are just closed to this idea, but I would encourage each and every one of you to reach out to them. You can do it individually. You can talk to Kristen Blackwood. She will talk to you. There are so many options. It's just mind-boggling to me that you won't even put it on the agenda, especially after the public asked you to do it. And you should all ask yourselves why. Why won't you put it on the agenda? Who is driving that cart? Because it doesn't make any sense. And time matters. If you were at the annual meeting and saw what Kristen Blackwood said about time, it matters. Our response times are not good. I mean, we have to wait for Lake Mills to come. I would just encourage you, again, you are spitting in the face of your constituents and telling them you won't even talk about it. This should be reviewed every time a contract is coming up. Lake Mills contract is easy to get out of. Not so much Fort Atkinson, but at least Lake Mills would be a portion of it. So ask yourselves why you're not letting it be on the agenda. Why won't you talk about it? Why won't you listen to your constituents? I'm asking every single one of you. Really. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so our next meeting is June 16th, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye.